Alright, so today I want to show you some of my snakes here in my collection that I've sold. I've actually sold some snakes and I still haven't shipped them out. Basically what I'm waiting on is I'm waiting on Ship Your Reptiles to give the all clear. And they say between the pandemic and the protests and everything that the insurance is turned off and it's really risky to ship snakes right now. And a lot of people are just kind of making payments. Some people have paid off the snakes and they're just waiting on a shipping window. So I thought I'd go through my snakes, and if you bought a snake from me, I thought I'd give you an update on your snakes so you can check it out. I'm definitely just kind of holding them and feeding them, no problem at all. I have plenty of room in my racks and plenty of rodents here at the house. No problem, you know, keeping them and holding on to them until we can ship. Hopefully, you know, I'm actually going over to shipyourreptiles.com. Every few days I'm checking to see if we can ship, and it looks like things have gotten a little bit better, but they still don't recommend shipping at this time. So I'm going to jump over and just start pulling these snakes out, and if you bought a snake from me, I want to give you an update on your snake. Alright, so take a look at this beauty. This is Fluffy. Fluff with an E. Fluff Dashy. Actually, I had two Fluffies last year. It was really confusing. I didn't realize it until someone commented, hey, you have two Fluffies in your collection. And then I changed the name on one to end in a Y. And then this one, I actually changed it to where it's FLUFF-E, Fluffy. And essentially what this is a pastel, 100% het desert ghost. And as a matter of fact, I think this also has Enchi in the mix. I didn't even realize it at first, and then I started producing a lot of Enchis from my desert ghost male, and I realized yes, he does have Enchi in there. So I'm pretty sure this guy is an Enchi pastel 100% het desert ghost. As a matter of fact, I actually moved this one out of the hatchling rack and moved him up into my 50-40 rack, because look at how big he is. He's definitely too big for a hatchling rack, and ever since I moved him up, it seems like he's eating better and growing even faster. He is really super big, doing really good. Alright, so take a look at this beauty. This is my big spider female. She also has jungle woma in there, and jungle woma really reduces the pattern. It's kind of not a very common gene, the jungle woma. If you actually make a super jungle woma, they call it a ridgeback with a really reduced pattern right on the back. I'd say it's almost kind of like a version of Enchi, the jungle woma. And this girl's really awesome. I actually produced one clutch of eggs with her, and this one has been kind of picky, like stuck on mice. She's pretty much a mouser. Every now and then she'll eat a rat, but she's getting some pretty good weight. I haven't bred her in, this is like the second year in a row that I haven't bred her. As a matter of fact, if you actually get a few more rodents into her, I'm thinking she's almost big enough to breed. She is a really fantastic looking spider, and really no wobble at all on this girl. For a spider, you really can't tell that she has any head wobble at all. Take a look at that. She's like one of the stablest spiders that I've ever seen. Really amazing snake. Alright, so take a look at this. This is Peewee. We named it Peewee. This is a Coral Glow 50% het pied. This is also a male maker. So if you breed this to something else, all the Coral Glow offspring will come out as males. And for some reason, my line of Coral Glow that I'm using produces really super bright and intense hatchlings. They're really, has a lot of orange and purple. You can almost see a little bit of orange and purple in there. And then as they age and mature, they kind of turn into a two-tone yellow and get a whole bunch of freckles all over. But it's kind of interesting how they change. It's like probably one of the morphs that has the biggest transformation between the hatchling and adult. This guy's doing really good. And you really can't see on the belly if it's het pied. You can only see the markers of the het pied if you're looking at like a normal without any other genes in the mix. So there's a 50% chance that this contains one copy of the recessive pied. You really won't know until you breed it out. Alright, take a look at this. This is Cobra. Cobra is another spider, and for some reason I really haven't had, you know, problems with the head wobble on my spiders that a lot of people claim to have on their spiders. Every now and then you see one with a real severe head wobble, and I haven't seen it in really any of my spiders in my whole collection. This one is super stable. You can definitely tell he's got a flat, stable head, no wobble, no stargazing at all. Pretty amazing. And this one's actually 100% had pied, actually had a spider pied that produced this. So we know it has one copy of the pied. And I actually bred this, it actually came from my 100% het caramel albino female. So there's a 50% chance this carries one copy of the caramel albino gene. And just look at the sides. It's kind of a really high white on this, really beautiful, almost like a calico look to it, but it's just one gene, the spider, really amazing. Just a single standalone gene, pretty amazing. And look at how bright gold they are, really super bright gold, almost as gold as a pinstripe. I really love these spiders, pretty amazing. So take a look at this beauty. This is a super bright white snake. This is my spider pied white wedding. So white wedding, essentially what it is, it's a spider pied, and usually the spider pieds have color on the head of the snake. And when you have one with no color on the head, you call it a white wedding. And this one, look at how dark the eyes are, really super dark, really beautiful snake. I really love these bright white snakes. And this is a female, and I was actually looking through all my snakes. Matter of fact, this one doesn't have a name yet. I haven't named this one, and I was wondering if I should name this one or if I should just wait and let the owner name it. Some of these snakes don't have names yet, but it's a really amazing snake. Alright, so I don't know how well this is going to work. This is Big Red, and he is a big squirrely corn snake. Look at how beautiful Big Red is. And yes, believe it or not, I actually sold Big Red. And he is, as a matter of fact, I bought him at a pet store. Don't really know the age on Big Red, and it was actually belonged to a lady whose only snake was this corn snake. It was her first snake and only snake, and she brought it into the pet store, and I bought it right after she brought it in. And it's the only corn snake I've ever had. It's pretty amazing. This thing will eat anything. It'll devour anything you throw in the cage. The problem with this is a lot of times it'll, get a little bit overweight because it'll just eat and eat. Completely different than a ball python. If you're looking for a snake and you're worried about feeding like a ball python, let me tell you, a corn snake is the way to go. And I've been trying to thin him down a little bit, kind of reducing the frequency between feedings. He is a really pretty, a hefty snake. And just look at how beautiful he is. Really amazing looking snake. That is pretty awesome. So here is Sunshine. Sunshine is another spider. Look at how beautiful that is. And this one seems like it has a higher white up on the belly. Really amazing. And this one is also 100% het pied, 50% het caramel albino. There's a 50% chance it carries one copy of the caramel albino gene. Look at the head stamp on that. Really beautiful. I love the head pattern on these spiders. And I was actually going through my snakes. I can't believe how many snakes that I still have that I've sold and I still have here in my collection. Quite a few snakes. It's pretty crazy. I don't mind holding them, and hopefully we'll get over this virus thing here in the next couple months or so, at least to the point where we can start shipping again. But that is a really beautiful snake, and by the time you get these snakes, they'll probably be even bigger than they are. This guy has been eating fantastic. Look at how chunky he is. Really good looking snake. Alright, so here is Spot, and Spot he's actually a male pastel pinstripe, so he's a lemon blast with the Enchi in the mix. And you can definitely tell the Enchi is reducing the pattern, and that is how I knew that I actually had Enchi in my Desert Ghost male. This is actually 100% het Desert Ghost, that's where it came from. And look at how bright the yellow is on this, and I think it's the combination. I started thinking, I was wondering if this is from the really bright line of pastel that's really making it like a bright orange, and now I'm thinking it's the combination of the pastel and the Enchi, because a lot of times the Enchi can really bring out a lot of the orangish yellow in combinations. And when I saw that at first, it should have been the first clue that yes, this does have Enchi in the mix. Really good looking snake. Alright, so here is Cupcake, and Cupcake is a male scaleless head, getting into the scaleless head project. I'm really excited about doing scaleless, completely scaleless, if I can ever get to that point where I'm making completely scaleless ball pythons. And even with one copy of the scaleless head, it seems like it gives the snake kind of a different texture compared to my other snakes, almost like little micro scales. It has a different feel to it, and a lot of times it'll really brighten and enhance a lot of of the colors in your combinations with just one copy of the scaleless head. And this one's a pretty high expression scaleless head. It has quite a few scales missing from the top of the head. It's getting pretty big too. I'm thinking this is probably almost big enough to breed already. Pretty amazing. All right, so here is Raven. Raven is a male pastel pinstripe, 100% het desert ghost. I started looking at Raven, I was thinking maybe this one is Enchy too. It is pretty reduced for a lemon blast. It looks a little bit different than an Enchy lemon blast, but it almost looks reduced enough to be Enchy, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of weird, you know, you find Enchy in one snake and you start proving it out, and then you realize all your hatchlings have Enchy in it. Kind of crazy. Looks really good. And the thing that makes me think there's Enchy in this one too is because you can see kind of a really high bright orange right along the belly, and I'm thinking that might be due to the presence of Enchy in this one. Looking really good, really beefy. Look at the size of that thing already. That is pretty amazing. All right, so there you have it. Those are the snakes that I've sold and I still haven't shipped out yet. And as a matter of fact, if you've paid for your snake in full and you want to take a chance, I'd be willing to try to ship it out on a Tuesday. Although Ship Your Reptile says it's still pretty risky. There's no insurance and I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're getting really impatient and you have to have your snake, I can actually ship on a Tuesday. So that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.